show that's reminding you that Hollywood Brown is still on the Chiefs.
This guy is
Not on
such
the
a
Ravens.
bad guy. I have to tell America what you
Show errors yesterday, and we apologize.
No, it was my error. I evidently twice, in reference to Zay Flowers, said Hollywood Brown, which is like not a good mistake, but understand both undersized first-round picks by the Ravens. I get why it was that way in my brain. It happens. What bothers me is Wilds heard it happen live, let me do it again, did not correct it, and then in a moment of vulnerability when I was texting him last night, he was like, you made an error worse than your Matt Ryan mistake, which he still mocks me for, which was during the pandemic.
Because you stopped smoking cigarettes, I felt bad.
Wilds.
That maybe you're a little bit fuzzy.
He's out, yeah.
But I'm nervous about that.
I know, but now you're going to start smoking again just to get stuff right.
If I start getting names and facts wrong, I'm smoking again. I'll tell you that much
That's
right
why
now.
I'm going to ignore it.
I would sacrifice my health.
Haven't you seen those commercials? They're terrible.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm not smoking.
We're starting with Josh Allen, the quarterback. 7 playoff wins, no Super Bowls, no Super Bowl appearances, and is now looking at an AFC field without his 2 recent quarterback playoff foes, Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. Also no Lamar. Nick, do you want to start here?
Sure.
How much pressure is on Josh Allen, the quarterback, to make a run here?
Why are
There's another Josh Allen.
Oh, instead of Josh Hines Allen. Yeah, and they're playing each other. Josh Hines Allen.
People are going to be lost. It's going to be like the Harbaughs.
If I were Josh Hines Allen, I maybe would create some bulletin board material. I would, at a press conference this week, say, if we win, I get to drop the middle name, and you have to start going by middle name.
Excellent.
Because Josh Hines Allen was initially just Josh Allen. Then he's like, everybody is confused who I am. That should be on the line.
Josh, can you look up? Oh, my God, Josh. Our researcher named Josh Allen. Cohen. Josh, can you look up Josh Allen's middle name, please?
We'll get that. So I think we'll all agree on this. But this is a very low bar. He and the Bills are under the most pressure a 6 seed's ever been under in the history of the NFL playoffs.
That's good.
Like where they are on the road against a team that won 13 games, has won 8 in a row, whose quarterback is playing as well as any player in the league over the last month or so. Yeah. And it will be considered a huge failure if they lose the game. That is just baseline. Very odd circumstances for a 6 seed for a road team, even though they are the slight favorite. And I think it's fair because I know that there has been a lot of, in my opinion, media revisionism, if that's a word, about what the Bills are. The Bills are a team that has the rushing champ. The Bills are a team that has the #1 pass defense in football. The Bills are a team that are a top 10 scoring offense, top 12, their 12th scoring defense. They are not a dominant defense, but it's not the 2018 Chiefs. It's not the Bengals 2 years ago or last year. It's right. They're not a perfect team by any means. They have good tight ends, don't have great receivers, but they have enough pieces that in this year's field, when all of the other in their prime quarterbacks that you are your rivals in your conference all missed the playoffs, people expect you to go on a run. And people really expect you to, at some point, get off this list. Most wins ever, playoff wins ever, by a quarterback who didn't make the Super Bowl. It's Josh Allen. He's the only one. He has 7 playoff wins. There's only 30 quarterbacks in the history of the league with 6 or more playoff wins. Okay? Josh Allen has 7. The other 29 all started a Super Bowl. So, and that, by the way, extends to his head coach, who of all the coaches with at least 7 playoff wins, it's him and Chuck Knox. There's 32 of them. And this isn't win a Super Bowl. This is to get there. And so that's not even doing the MVP stuff and all. It just is what it is. So there's massive pressure, and to me, it's totally fair.
Well, first of all, it's a credit to Josh Allen.
Yes.
You only get to the level of you better win a Super Bowl when you're great. Right now, it's like him and Lamar. And you can throw Burrow in there. He's been the one, so he doesn't get as much heat. But when you get to a certain level,
good point,
people are like, we expect you to win the Super Bowl. or get to one at least. This also is the curse side of being the quarterback. There's the blessing where you get the lion's share of the credit when you win, and the curse is that you get the lion's share of the blame when you lose. This Bills team, I hear you, the defense is okay. The run, they do have James Cook, who's led the league in rushing. Receivers aren't very good. Tight ends are solid. But this is not close to his best Bills team as far as I'm concerned. Like this, if you look at the Bills team versus the AFC field, they're in there, but you don't look at them as the best
You mean the team outside of the quarterback, players 2 through
just
53?
period.
Okay.
The team. Like they are what they are. They're decent. They're a good team in a field of good teams. But they're not like head and shoulders above anybody. They're not even above anybody else. But the quarterback is viewed and is above everybody else. And so because of that, you could look at the team and say, I understand if Jacksonville beat them. But you're gonna criticize Josh Allen because you've reached a certain stature where you got to win a Super Bowl. And the fact is, every year he's still young, obviously still in his prime, but every year he doesn't win it, and same goes for Lamar, the likelihood of you ever winning it diminishes a little.
Yes.
Just a little, but it diminishes.
A decent amount, actually.
Yeah, I mean, so even if he's got 8 years left in his prime or whatever, it still diminishes some. And I'll say this, and look, I don't see any signs of him slowing down. You see something in Lamar, you feel like I'll let it go till next year. I think he was injured this year at times. But Josh is obviously a running quarterback.
Yes.
Cam Newton had 8 great, like really good years in his prime. And then the injuries just took their toll. Josh is in his 8th year. And again, I don't see that type of diminishment. I'm just saying, running quarterbacks, he takes a lot of hits like Cam did. So you wonder, will his prime be shorter than, say, a Mahomes or somebody like that?
And
or
then
Brady
and again, and Patrick's in a weird spot right now because Patrick is now going to be coming off a devastating injury. So if we just compare him instead of to Mahomes or a guy right now, just to your point, I think he is more likely to have 12 awesome years than 16 awesome years because of his style. Yeah. And by the way, 12 awesome years is still an amazing career. Yeah. But if the Bills don't win the Super Bowl this year, and I'm talking about getting to the Super Bowl, but just win it, then I think people have to recognize that, hey, Josh, Lamar, Burrow, they're not all getting one. And it might be that only one of them gets one. Yeah. Because, if he doesn't win it this year, then obviously none of them are winning it this year. And they're all a year older. The young guys are coming. I think, and maybe people think I'm wrong, but I think Mahomes is not done winning ever again. Yeah. And so there's only one a season. And I know you don't always like KW the historical comps. You probably really don't like historical hypotheticals, but I'm going to throw one out there anyway.
I actually do like that.
So Peyton got his Super Bowl in 2006. At that point, in 2006, he beat Brady in the AFC Championship game, broke through. Imagine a world just for a moment where that 06 AFC Championship game, that the Patriots were up 21-3 at halftime. The Patriots had held on and won, okay? And Peyton didn't get to that Super Bowl. And then 07 happens, and Patriots have that year. And then in 2008, Tom Brady was out with a torn ACL. Peyton Manning had never beaten him, had won league MVPs, and was walking into the playoffs as, by the way, a wild card, which in 2008, Peyton Manning oddly did because the Titans, I think, won the division that year. Everyone would say, you got to do it this year, Peyton. There wasn't that level of pressure on him that season because he had done it. He had broken through. Right. But that is kind of how I feel. Is this his best team? No. Is this the clearest path? No, not clear as far as home games. It's clearest as far as who.
Field,
but it is never going to be a situation, I believe, again, where no matter how the rest of the bracket breaks, the Bills will have clearly the quarterback edge in every round of the playoffs. Even if Drake Maye is better than him right now, it won't. Drake Maye in his first playoff run does not have the quarterback edge over Josh Allen when they can only meet in the conference championship game. And so, like, that to me is why there's all this pressure. And to your point, it's not necessarily fair, but people expect Josh to go on the road and beat Trevor Lawrence, and then in round 2 to be able to go beat Bo Nix. I know they're not on the same field at the same time. I get that. That's what people will expect because people think he's the best player in football.
The saving, if I may, the saving grace, he has been criticized for not getting to the Super Bowl, but the saving grace for him has been the guys outside of his first time in the playoffs when he was in his second year, he wasn't Josh Allen yet. The only guys that beat him have been Mahomes and Burrow.
Yes.
So people can live with that. But you go ahead and you get beat by C.J. Stroud or Bo Nix or Trevor Lawrence. Now it's a whole different thing, and it becomes, we've looked at him as he performs well in the playoffs, but he's just running to Mahomes. It may become, wow, he just lost to Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, I have 3 ways he could lose. 1, loses in a shootout. Right, the classic Mahomes game.
You mean it won't get criticized?
Yeah, no,
he's just laying out the possible
That one he doesn't get criticized for. In fact, that was he lost the game, but a win for him reputationally. 2, it's more like the Texans game where it's just a disaster on the line and he's getting chased around and people are like, what is he supposed to do?
No, if he loses that way, if they lose,
you think you get ripped for that?
Yes. If they can't break 17 points in a playoff game against the Jags, who don't, as Jags defense is a little underrated in my opinion, it's not the Texans defense. Yes, he'll be criticized, and I think fairly criticized.
And then
the third way?
The turnovers.
It's
Josh Allen Superman mode. If he starts throwing the ball away, it's how they lost to the Dolphins with an interception and a fumble. I don't know if we have the full screen, but when he turns the ball over, they lose the game. So if he loses like this, then definitely it's on him. But if he loses any other way, it's like, he's the MVP.
Well,
they're on the road.
You're right, but it's still going
top
to be a
3.
little bit of a knot.
Oh, it's top 3. Top 3 is fine. But he went into the year before Mahomes had the year that he had, with a lot of people saying he's the best player in football. He, at 3 or 4 different times this year, whenever he has one of those crazy games, people say he's the best player in football.
Who's starting next year? If he loses to Trevor, who's starting?
No, that's kind of my.
Let's see what Drake May does.
Oh my!
I mean, sir, but
let's see what Stafford does.
See what Stafford does.
Jalen Hurts. I mean, who knows
if he turns it on?
You see, right?
Well, if Jalen Hurts, if they win back-to-back Super Bowls, but if he loses in round 1, unless it is a 38-35, last team with the ball, he's epic, then I do think it dings him as far as being the universally accepted, QB1, except for the folks that will continue to give it to Mahomes. Like,
he will get some leeway because of the receivers. Whether you think that's fair or not, if he loses, there will be a lot saying, get him a receiver.
Oh, I agree with that.
They need to get him one anyway.
But I just think it'll be hard. If they lose in round 1, I personally think it's going to be hard for people to be like, Josh Allen is better than Patrick Mahomes going into next year. I
don't know that people are going. I mean, Mahomes obviously historically is better than everybody in the league, but next year I don't know if people are going to be saying Mahomes is the best.
I wasn't.
Even if Josh goes out in you know what I mean? They might be saying there's somebody else.
Never won a road playoff game. The Bills, as a franchise, have won 4.
They haven't won one
games.
since I think '92.
Correct. Against who?
1992 against who? Houston.
Pittsburgh.
I was going to say Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh and the AFC title game in Miami.
It's on the board. They lose too.
Chargers Patriots Sunday night. New England faces a rested Justin Herbert. Took the Broncos game off. Herbert was in Gillette about a year ago, where he crushed the Patriots 40-7 through 3 touchdowns. The Patriots are favored. The question on the bar is, should I be worried? I don't want to answer it first, though. It's more of like a trivia, and I'll tell you who's right. You want to go?
Yeah. You should be worried.
About what?
The Chargers.
Why?
First, you guys haven't a great season. You played 3 playoff teams. You won 2. you lost to, right? You crushed Carolina, which,
They weren't a playoff
okay,
team.
congratulations
They
to
weren't
them. They got into the playoffs.
Yeah.
You lost to Pittsburgh, you split with Buffalo. So you guys, again, nice, awesome season. But y'all have not reached the status where you shouldn't be worried about anybody. Y'all should be worried about every team in the field.
We just be worried regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree
because,
with that.
I mean, we don't know what Drake is going to do.
He's going to be. Are you actually? I know people say that. Are you actually? Do you think that Drake Maye could have a dud game?
I don't think he'll be
Of
like
course he
horrible, but
could.
he might not. And he could be horrible.
not better
but I
than
don't.
Peyton
I just
Manning.
don't think
I'm
he'll.
not saying. No,
but-
I agree.
No,
I just think it's possible that he could have. We don't know what he's going to do. Playoff games, first time.
But what evidence
you
do
just
you
don't
have
know.
other than the
That
unknown?
he's young.
No,
And
the
but that's legitimate.
But the evidence, KW, is that there has not seemingly been any rhyme or reason before a great quarterback's first playoff game if they were going to see ghosts. If you look at all the 10 greatest quarterbacks ever,
Right.
and look at the reason I say he's not better than Peyton Manning is, and I know that sounded like it was an attack. My point is, we had no reason to believe going into Peyton's first playoff game that it was going to take him half a decade to play his first good one. There was no reason to believe it. There was not like there wasn't evidence from anywhere. It just happened to be the case. And we had no reason to believe going into Tom Brady's first playoff game that he was going to be dead-eye clutch, even before he was great. So that's why I'm saying it is the idea that your Drake Maye take that I have taken most issue with all year long is the impossibility that he plays a bad playoff game. And because to me it is elevating him above literally all the quarterbacks in the history of the league.
I just think if Drake Maye will save the MVP conversation, but if Drake Maye is the MVP, I feel like you guys have to prove it to me that he can have a bad game. Is Stafford going to have a bad game?
No, but because
you've seen Stafford as a playoff history.
Yes, he's been great in the playoffs. He still could have a bad game.
I won't say it.
No, but go ahead. I interrupted.
But
I interrupted your point,
No.
Brou. I didn't mean to.
But here's the thing, Wilds, too. The Chargers are a good team. I know they're banged up. They're a very good team. We know Jim Harbaugh is a very good coach. Justin Herbert might be second, at least in the AFC, if not the whole league, as far as the pressure on him as a quarterback. Because we know what we talked about, Josh. Herbert's got to start showing something. He's in his 6th year.
So that's something I should be worried about because Justin Herbert.
His talent though.
I have proof that Justin Herbert has played poorly in the playoffs.
Right, but he's a good quarterback, a very good
great
quarterback,
example,
and he could come out and play well.
Because you're right. I think. Should the Chargers be worried about the Patriots? Obviously. Should people be worried that Justin Herbert's going to have a 3rd straight playoff dud? Obviously. This is like a mutual fear scenario, in my opinion. Herbert's another great example. Herbert in his 2nd year in the league threw for 5,000 yards.
Right.
Herbert had never shown any signs that he wasn't that guy. And then in his first playoff game, melted. And then didn't miss a year, got back there in his second playoff game, was even worse.
I could argue that's a little bit of poor coaching for his first playoff game that I don't think.
No, that's fair, but
okay, sure, but
I just feel like if he's the MVP. Okay, we'll debate
he's the top 2 MVP.
He's an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
He's got the best completion percentage. He's got the best yards per pass. He's got the best passer rating in the league. He's 13th best all time. He's got the most first downs, either running or throwing. So to me, if I have a history of a guy through 17 games who has been excellent, it's like living in Southern California. And I think it's fair to say when we leave, it's going to be sunny out. And you're like, it might be a torrential downpour. I've seen it torrentially downpour.
You don't think?
Sure, but I'm not worried when I walk outside. I'm holy cow, you guys were right. It's pouring
You're saying there's no difference between playoff football and regular season football.
Right. No, I'm saying you need to prove it to me that you've seen.
We have never seen him in the playoffs.
That I understand. I had never seen him play against.
No, you're going to.
I'm trying to think who we didn't play against. The Panthers. He played well. I understand the playoffs are different, but you have to prove to me that he's going to play
I
more.
think he has to prove
Other
that
than
he's
like
gonna
there's
play
other
well.
quarterbacks.
And he might play well,
And they
but not
lose.
great, right? And they still
so
lose.
can I, a couple to KW,
You think if he plays well, they
I
automatically
don't think
win.
Justin Herbert is an example of a guy who Justin Herbert was not the MVP his first playoff. Wasn't in the MVP conversation his first playoff year. I need an example of an MVP candidate who's
Peyton Manning. There you go. There
all
it
right,
is.
so all right,
Peyton
worst
Manning.
case scenario,
But-
he's Peyton Manning.
No,
I'm gonna roll the dice.
I mean,
with
Lamar,
that.
as we've said,
Lamar.
has had
How about
playoff
Lamar
games.
Jackson, who was unanimous MVP his second year in the league? Now that was his second playoff game, but his first playoff game as the full-time starter all year, and was awful. By the way, I think that's a fair example. There are. It's not.
I mean, it really has no. I asked for something and you guys delivered it, so sure. But Lamar Jackson's playoff performance literally has nothing to do with Drake.
But
you
we're just saying,
But that's
like,
what I know. I understand.
The
but now that you've
postseason
answered
is
it.
entirely different from the regular
No, but
season.
hold on.
Everything's going to be amped up, and you just don't know how guys are going to react. That's all we're saying.
Can I-
We're not saying he can't have a great game either.
I just want to be on the record with what I'm saying. I am not predicting Drake Maye fails. There's been nothing I have seen from Drake Maye that makes me think the lights are going to be too bright. I have been wildly impressed by him. I think he is already a superstar. And I don't think he is going to have, like, next year all of a sudden plummet back down to earth the way we've seen with some quarterbacks. I don't believe any of that stuff. I also, though, think that you are acting as if Brou and I are saying, we know he's going to fail. When we're not saying that. We are acting like you are saying, I know he's not going to. And I think that the entirety of NFL history tells us you don't know that. Before you have seen a quarterback play in the postseason, you do not know whether or not his regular season performance and playoff performance are going to be similarly correlated, inversely correlated, if he's going to be a playoff riser, which for Maye this year would be basically impossible, he's played so well, or a playoff dropper, which almost every quarterback, by the way, in fact, literally every quarterback except for Brady and Mahomes, are playoff droppers from regular season numbers, postseason numbers. The question is, how big? Is it just a tiny bit, or is it that much? And this is where, and this is the point Brou was making, where I think the strength of schedule stuff is the most relevant. Not about awards, but about how prepared for this moment is Drake Maye. And no matter how good coaching is, no matter how good practice is, no matter how good any of those things are, there is a level of only being able to be prepared to play great NFL defenses by playing them. And I think that's where the schedule's worked against you guys a tiny bit. So that's why I'd be nervous. You know I don't believe in the Chargers. You know I don't believe in Justin Herbert. But I just think you are operating from a place of certainty that I don't think any quarterback in the history of the league has earned.
I have not seen anyone present any evidence that Drake Maye is susceptible to a upcoming struggle or slump. I haven't seen it. And it's not, and it's like, well, Peyton Manning did, or well, Lamar did. Okay, those are good.
What's the evidence that he has?
Right.
That he's not.
That he won't.
Because you're going to only
Because he has played
present
17 games
regular
of
season
MVP caliber football. So I would say there would extend to the 18th game.
No,
that
so
we
the
The
have
18th
at
game's a
home.
lot different. It's a playoff game.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I
that's-
think. You don't think it's different?
We've never seen
Which
him
is
I don't know if
shocking
it's a
to me.
lot different that the MVP is going to fall off a cliff.
Oh, yeah.
But
And I
It's
think
a-
his
it's a lot
style of play lends itself, super accurate, mobile, experienced offensive coordinator at home against a banged up team. Yeah, I think he's going to do pretty well. If anything, well, I'll save that part.
So then that's fine. Then he is a breed of quarterback, the likes of which we maybe have never seen, and he is going to be in, forget this year's MVP conversation, perennial year-over-year MVP conversations and an all-time great.
No, you're saying, I mean, if he has a great game one in the playoffs, I don't think it means he's all that.
No.
You know, I'm
that's
saying
that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if he is impervious, if he is able to treat playoff football identical to regular season football, then he is one of the 5 or 6 greatest quarterbacks in the history of the league. Because my evidence would be we have 100 years of professional football. You can count on less than 2 hands how many quarterbacks have been able to do what you're describing. So I would be wildly Brett Favre couldn't do it. Aaron Rodgers couldn't do it. Took John Elway arguably his whole career to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning never could do it. I'm not saying Drake Maye can't.
No, I just want the point. Like, you know what? I watch this. This is going to be where he melts. Is that what? Like, that's what I'm trying to get.
It's just
like, he does not mentally.
You're a young player. The atmosphere is different. The stakes are higher.
You're not playing from ahead the entire second half.
It's just
you do make a mistake. You get a little tight. All those things, we've seen it happen. Maybe it can't happen to Drake Maye.
I just haven't seen it from Drake Maye.
You haven't seen him in the playoffs.
You haven't seen him play well either in the playoffs. You haven't seen it. You're right. We haven't seen it.
You just think it's not different. That's fine.
No, I think it's different. But I have yet to get. There's just no evidence. You guys aren't. It's all.
There's no evidence either way.
It's just all.
Right, KW. There's no evidence either direction, and you asked us for examples. We gave them to you, and you said you don't care about them anymore. So there's nothing.
There's not evidence. There's just like these guys, these random guys. That's what you guys are talking about. You're not talking about Drake Maye. You're talking about Lamar Jackson struggles.
We have evidence neither way on Drake Maye. That he'll be fine, or that he'll.
I said he's played 17 games of great football.
But not playoff football.
Before we start the playoff, it's time to see who's got the top spot and who has the oddly important 5 spot. Without further ado, it's the season finale of Brou's Ballot. Welcome, Chris Broussard.
Thank you, Wilds.
Wow.
I put a ton of time and thought into this, so I hope you guys enjoy the ballot. All right, at number 5, Nick, Trevor Lawrence.
Congratulations, Trevor.
He lifted Jacksonville from 4 wins to 13. 4 last year to 13. Look, I know he doesn't have the efficiency numbers. Only 91 passer rating, 60% completion percentage. However, Wilds, he was 3rd in the league in total touchdowns with 38. He had 9 rushing, 29 passing. And coach, over the last 9 games of the season, he was hot. 20 passing touchdowns, 25 total touchdowns. The only player that could match him in total touchdowns or even passing touchdowns was Matthew Stafford. So he came on strong, so I gave him number 5.
A little low by my mind, Brou, but I like that he's on the ballot.
At number 4, I know Wilds hates it, but the sack champion.
Don't hate it.
Myles Garrett, 23 sacks, broke a record that has stood for a quarter century. Did it on a bad team, so teams were playing ahead, not passing as much against the Browns, and he still got the sack record. And he was 2nd all time in tackles for losses for a season, coach. 33, 2nd all time. Only 2 players have ever had 30 or more tackles for losses in a season, Myles Garrett and J.J. Watt. All right, at number 3, Josh Allen. Look, he actually had a better passer rating. I know people think he had a down year. His passer rating is better than it was last year when he won the MVP. 101 last year, 102 this year. 2nd in the league in total touchdowns with 39. I get that the roller coaster Josh has come back a little bit this year, but he still carried them to 12 wins. I had to give him number 3. All right, and here it is. This is the moment that we all have been waiting for. And Wilds, buckle up. Because at number 2, the 2nd-year man in New England, Drake Maye, which means that everybody's All-American, Matthew Stafford, is the MVP this season for Brou's Ballot. Now, we tried to get everybody's All-American on the phone. We couldn't, but we did get his teammate.
Really?
Running back Kyron Williams, is going to offer congratulations and accept this award for his quarterback.
How's it going? Kyron Williams here, Los Angeles Rams running back. I just want to give my quarterback, Matthew Stafford, a big shout out on winning MVP of the First Things First show. Man, Matthew, you know the type of person you are, the type of competitor, man. You know, it's been a blessing to be here just to watch you continue to keep growing and keep being better at the game. Keep going.
That was fantastic.
Yes.
And what are you actually sending to Matthew Stafford?
Well, we got to work that out with
Yeah.
Dusty and me in the
You
back.
should send him one of those jackets that you wear in the
One of Lamar's jackets.
Let me quickly say this
oh.
because I know you guys want to discuss it. It essentially, because you can make an argument for Drake or Stafford, obviously.
Yeah.
Coach, it came down to one number for me.
46.
46.
Yeah.
46 touchdowns. When the competition, Drake Maye had 31. 15, it would have taken Drake Maye a half a season at that rate to match Matthew Stafford. So that's really, Stafford obviously led the league in passing yards as well. Drake led the league in a few categories. So both were deserving, but 46 touchdowns. And this last graphic I want to show, only 7 players, including Stafford, have ever thrown for 46 or more touchdowns in a season. Every single one of them except Drew Brees won the MVP that year, and maybe Stafford, we'll see. But when Brees threw 46, Aaron Rodgers won it that year and threw 45.
Correct.
So it's 46 touchdowns is kind of a magical number.
45. Do you call it
45?
45? There's every season a quarterback's ever thrown for 45 touchdowns. He has won the MVP, except for a year 2 guys did it. In which case, you know what I mean?
Right.
One guy didn't win MVP. I don't think it is. This has become controversial in a way that I don't, and maybe it's just symptom of the internet. Like, I don't see a ton of people who think Matt Stafford should be MVP outraged by the idea that Drake Maye could win it. But there, to me, has been just outright misinformation about Stafford's case. Stafford led the league in yards and led the league in touchdown passes. That's a good place to start. Led the league in passing yards, led the league in touchdown passes, and 46 touchdowns to 8 interceptions is an insane number. Yep. What obviously works against Stafford is 5 seed versus 2 seed. I do think it is at least worth noting that Matt Stafford scored a touchdown in overtime against Seattle. First team ever to score a touchdown in overtime and lose the game, by the way. And then, as you guys would say about Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl, left the field with the lead. But not a 3-point lead, a 7-point lead. And if they get a stop, his defense, they're the 1 seed.
Yeah.
And
that's fair.
The other stuff was Stafford has gotten rich on 1-yard touchdowns. He has 8 1-yard touchdowns. Drake Maye has 3. So again, you take them both off, you do that. The other one was that Stafford, just ate up against the stat padded. So I just want to show a couple things because I think Matt Stafford's the league MVP. One is just go to the Jets and Cardinals thing, because both Drake and Stafford this year had 3-win teams in their division that they crushed, that they just annihilated that competition. The 7 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, passer rating's insane. Both went 2-0. Team scored 34 or 41 a game. So if you just so they both killed the awful teams in their division. And then if you look at what they did in the other 15 games, they both had 6 seasons, and it's the same story that it is basically in everything else. Drake hasn't beaten completion percentage, yards per attempt, and passer rating slightly. Stafford hasn't beaten in touchdowns and passing yards. I put up total yards to be fair to Drake because Drake is the better rusher. And so I think 46 touchdowns, 8 picks, and lead the league in passing yards. And this is where, Coach, I will also say, in the toughest division in the league against a tough schedule versus against the 32nd ranked schedule, to me, that's the league MVP.
And quickly, 1-yard touchdown, are those easy? 1-yard touchdowns are not easy.
But we hand the ball.
Drake
hands the ball off and they throw it.
But
I think that's
right.
Saying
but it's a 5-touchdown difference. It's 3 for
easy.
Drake and 8 for Stafford.
There's a million games that have been lost on missed 1-yard touchdowns.
Thank you.
Where they're in goal line defense, they're matched up outside, it's single coverage. Everything tells you, hey, we should go ahead and throw this fade, and it's incomplete. way more than it's complete. It's a lot harder than I think people
Right.
give the quarterback and receiver credit for. I love your list. I love the fact that the only non-quarterback was a defensive player. I think that's that's good. I thought maybe a running back might sneak in.
Did you think McCaffrey?
I thought he had a chance. I thought he had a chance for that.
The 3.9 yards a carry is tough.
It just is how dramatic his impact was on that team. But in terms of Maye versus Stafford, I was telling Kevin yesterday I was leaning towards Maye. And as I was going through this, I looked at, okay, Stafford had the experience. He has the consistency of the offense, of the coordinator, of the head coach. He has all those advantages, but he's playing in a much tougher division. And in preseason, we were talking about, is this guy even going to play? We didn't even know if he was going to be able to play with the back injury. And then he plays in the toughest division, and he has the production that he has. Now, Maye, you got to give so much credit for. It's a 10-game turnaround. Now, granted, the schedule was significantly lighter, but he's got a new head coach and a new coordinator. He just happened to get a really good head coach and a really good coordinator, probably not the same supporting staff. So it was hard, but at the end of the day, I think I'm like you guys. You look at the difference in number of passing touchdowns, and it's just so significant, it's hard to give the nod to Maye.
I think it's, look, if it's just a touchdown counting contest, and I don't want to oversimplify your arguments, but then yes, he wins it. At the same time, like the Patriots had the third best scoring offense. We gave 29 points a game, so it's not like couldn't move the ball.
Sure.
You know, I think the Rams are one, I believe. My question is, and I hate hypotheticals on switching guys' teams, but I'm going to do it if you guys are willing to entertain it. To me, it comes down to the 10-game turnaround. If Drake Maye and Stafford were traded for each other before the season,
The Pats are bigger favorites than they are right now.
maybe, but just hear me out. Not looking at. And Drake Maye threw a bunch of touchdowns to Devontae and Puka and played great.
So are the stats reversed as well?
No, we'll just see how it will play out. And Stafford was able to turn the Patriots around, went from a 4-win team to a 14-win team. I think that you would give more credit to Matthew Stafford for the MVP because of the turnaround. Short story is, I think Drake is almost being penalized for being on that team and versus like it's a brand new person. If the Patriots got a brand new quarterback and did this, I think we'd be like, yes, the 10-win turnaround is the leading argument for that person winning MVP.
Except I think, yes, if the 10-win turnaround was we just changed quarterbacks. Instead of what actually happened was the quarterback got a lot better, but it's the same quarterback.
Yeah.
And they added more players in free agency than any team in the league. They went from objectively bad head coach to a very good head coach. They went from offensive system that had no rhyme or reason to a great one in Josh McDaniels.
Maybe the best.
They have the reason we on this show don't talk weapons, the Stafford weapons advantage that much is because you're adamant the best receiver on either team's Diggs. And
Puka's better than Stephon Diggs.
Well, not when we were listed our top 5 the other day.
Puka's better.
He
would be.
But you certainly have Diggs ahead of Devontae Adams.
He has, yes, I do. He has no Pro Bowlers on offense.
I've heard the turnaround piece, which I understand. But the preseason expectations, their Vegas win totals were the same. We're 8.5 and 8.5 with more juice on the over for the Rams was 9. So both of these teams overachieved this season. The Patriots obviously more so because they got 14 wins. But I do think it's minimizing it to say if it's just a touchdown competition. And I think leading the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns for a team that was this close to being the number 1 seed. Now they didn't get it. I think is as legitimate of a case as there is.
And I don't think it's just a touchdown total competition. I just think when you get to the number of you're 45?
46.
Right, 46, and the difference is so significant. It's not just counting. It's the high watermark here, and then the separation between the two.
The completion percentage and longest passes, yards per pass. That does it for me.
That didn't win Tony Romo the MVP.
He had both?
And passer rating. He had all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.